Tanya. This is Fern. My cameraman is Paul. Michelangelo. When I say the name Michelangelo, almost everyone recognizes him. One of the greatest artists in history. Doing my research at michelangelo.net, I found information pertaining to his life and what he did during his lifetime. He was a sculptor, a painter. He was also a poet. He was born in 1475 on March 6th, and at the age of 6, his mother passed away. She had been suffering from a long, prolonged illness. This was probably the first major crisis in his life. He would grow up with his nanny and her husband at their home. Her husband happened to be a stoneworker, worked in the quarries. And as young Michelangelo is growing up, he spends time going with him to the rock quarries. It's generally believed that that's maybe where he picked up his love of working with stone, was in the rock quarry. He would go there during the day, spend the days with his nanny's husband, and come back. But during the day when he's there, he would get hands-on in the quarry with the tools and stuff, as any kid would do when they follow their dad to work. If you've ever done any rock work, you know that cutting stone is an art form. It takes a lot of technique to work the stone. It's hard work, but it's gratifying work. And like I said, he did this until he was probably 13 years of age. At 13, his father arranged for him to be an apprentice at a fresco working shop. They would go out and do frescoes in different buildings around the city. During his time there, he learned quickly at the job, and within 1 year, his father had convinced the owner of the shop to pay him. Instead of just being an apprentice that worked for food and lodging, he actually got paid during his second year of apprenticeship there. After the second year, he was sent to someone else to apprentice, and they enrolled him into the Platonic Academy, which is an art academy. There he got to meet some of the great philosophers of the time in the area, and their thoughts influenced how he looked at the world. This was about the time that Christopher Columbus was making his famous voyage to the Americas. In 1492, he graduated from the academy and started his career as a sculptor. One of his projects he worked on that was his first major work, really, was the statue of David. At the time he was sculpting David, Columbus was making his fourth and final voyage to the Americas. And had he just gone there and come back, he would have missed the timing that is so crucial with this event, due to the fact that when he started the sculpture, Columbus was already in the Americas, and Columbus got delayed because of termites eating his ships. He got stranded in Jamaica. So that gave Michelangelo time to finish his sculpture. So in 1492 was about when he started, and he finished the sculpture 3 years later. After he did the sculpture, Pope Julius II requested him to come and work on his tomb. And he agreed to do the work for him. And he came and did a big design for the Pope and started going to the quarries to get the stone. After the stone was partially quarried, the Pope come to him and offered him another work of art to do, the Sistine Chapel ceiling. Michelangelo accepted this like any good artist would and continued on working. But he decided it would be better to do the Sistine Chapel ceiling first. The Pope didn't agree with him, and there was constant arguments about getting back to doing his tomb. After 7 years of putting the Pope off, he completed the Sistine Chapel ceiling and went back to working on the tomb. A year after he started working on the tomb again, the Pope actually died. So the tomb was not finished for the Pope. But he continued working on the tomb. And then the church come to him again with another request for another fresco in the Sistine Chapel. The fresco was called the Last Judgment. And he was doing work on this fresco at the same time he was trying to finish the tomb. He finished the fresco at the age of 70 when he finished it. He worked on the tomb for 39 years. It was probably his greatest work because of the number of sculptures that he included in it. A total of 8 sculptures, with Moses being the centerpiece. Now, a lot of people think that this is really a grand tomb, but in fact it was scaled back at least 7 times during the construction. Cost overrun didn't seem to go well even back then. Later, after he finished his sculpting of that, he went on to do poetry for about 10 years. And then at the age of 89, Michelangelo passed away within 3 weeks of reaching his 90th birthday. One of the greatest artists of all time.